Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and today we are going to put our house onto the site plan. In order to do this, you're going to have to take the site plan file that I have up on Google Classroom, downloaded, and from there you're going to be able to open it. So you're going to want to bring your Habitat house into the site plan, but in order to do that first, we need to make a couple adjustments to it. So I have my site plan here, so I'm going to open it up. And now it's an older file, so we're going to want to do the upgrade. So it's going to take a moment or two to do that. Some of the things we're going to have to do is we're going to add a property line, then setbacks so we can place our house. Once we have our house placed, we'll excavate the area a little bit. From there, then we'll put the house in to correct the elevation. And then finally, we're going to have to split the surface a little bit so that we can have our basement in. So, all right, here we go. So here's our Noblesville, Indiana site plan. We got a couple of things on here I want to clean up that are just extra, so let's just delete these so we don't have to look at them. And now we have our site plan. You can see here we have our elevation, 769 feet, 770, and eventually what we're going to do is we're going to excavate this a little bit so that it's a little bit flatter in the area, so that there's less, well, we're building a house, we can do what we want, and there's less of a slope to the property. We can possibly leave it, we'll see what happens when we get to that point. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to need to add a property line. In order to do that, so our property line is basically around here, up into the concrete sidewalk. So if we go to massing and site, you'll see property line. Click on that, and we're going to do it by sketching. Our property line is right here. I believe there's actual numbers for these property lines based on your coordinate system, but we're just going to draw it in right here. It's easy enough. So I'm going to come in, zoom in to basically this top corner, get it as close to it as possible. Bring it down to here. You can see it's starting to snap to it. Click like that, and we can lock these in. Okay. So that they're locked into position so they don't move, and hit the check mark. You can now see that when we zoom in, we have a property line. From here, we are going to add our building line or our setbacks. Now notice here it says a 25-foot building line. So we have a 25-foot building line from here, here on 10th Street, here on Ashfield Alley, and then on the back it's only a 10-foot setback. These are given to us in the Affordable Housing Guidelines and in the city code. In order to do that, we'll go to massing and site again. We are going to go to property line, and we are going to go create by sketching. We are going to pick line. So we can now pick our property line. We're going to do an offset of 25 feet on the three sides. So there. So there it is. There. There. Now this last one, we're going to leave it like that. Now notice we have this extra line here. If I hit the check mark, close loops. So it's showing this one up on top. We can click on it and delete it. Oh, sorry. The back button. All right, so it's there. We're actually showing a property line up on there. So I'm going to double click this, click that one, delete it, make sure it was gone. Didn't realize it was there. Finish sketch. This one right here should only be 10 feet from the back. So if I click on it, click again on that, notice that it gives us that 25 foot. I'm going to change that to 10 feet. Now, I have my setbacks, or my 25-foot building line, and from here, I'm going to then let that know that it's 25 foot there, there, and there, and this one will be 10 foot. I'm going to basically copy this over. So I click, click on it, up to here, copy, click on the corner, drag it over. I'm going to go copy again. Click on that one, drag it over, and copy it one more time. Click on the corner, drag it over. I'm going to then move them into position. So this, I'm going to rotate, drag over. This one I'm going to click, rotate. Whoop. Looks all right. Drag it over. This one is all right for me. I'm then going to go to this one and change that to 10-foot building line. So now I have where I can potentially place my house. So if this is up to you now, when we start placing our house, where in here is up to you where to decide. I would now at this point save it. Okay, so give it a chance to save. And now what we're gonna do is bring our house into this. So we then go to Insert, Link Revit. Once I'm in Link Revit, I'm gonna look for my house. This is my older one. 18, 19. Mine's here. So Habitat House, last time I worked on it, right here. It's the most recent version of it. You can see in the preview, that's the one I had the plumbing plan on. I hit open. There's my house. I'm gonna position it kind of where I want it. Also at this point, if you wanna rotate your house into a certain direction, you can. All right, and I believe the front of my house is right over here. So if I wanna rotate it, I have 10th Street right here. Notice that's where your water mains are. Sewer lines right here. It also runs around there. Any sort of utilities, gas, anything like that is also gonna come in from behind the house. So I forget where the front of my house is. It should be right here. I will rotate this now. .90 degrees. So I don't know why it's not getting exactly to 90 degrees. All right, I'll accept that for now. All right, so that's rotated 90 degrees. Now, if we go to our 3D view and bring it up, we notice that our house is all the way down here. The reason being that the house is all the way down there is because we made that at sea level, or 0 feet or slightly under. What do we have to do now is bring this house up. In order to do that, we're gonna go to our floor plan, Habitat for Humanity site. I'm then gonna draw a section line through the whole property, through the house, like that. Once I'm there, I can go to that section view and find my house, highlight everything, and start moving it up. Click, move. We want to get it into our rough position. And notice here, if I move it a little bit in any sort of direction, right, like that, we can see where our house is. Now notice here the ground is slightly sloped, which is fine. We can deal with that. This is the pull down a little bit for that. But the issue is that we have the floor going through our actual house. Or sorry, the ground going through our house. We're gonna eventually need to edit that surface. So there it is on there. If we now just go to our 3D view, you can see our house. So right now the front of my house is pointing that way. That's fine. I rotated in that direction. We could check our building line. So I'm close to it, which is fine. So it gives myself a bigger backyard. Now you can place it anywhere in there, which is okay. All right, so now we are going to get this into the exact position we want and edit out for our crawl space. I once again recommend saving. So we're all good to go. Let's go back to that view. So I'm gonna rotate this around. And this from my house. Now we're gonna have to eventually add some little like stoop or step, which is okay. That's not a problem. Foundation is sticking slightly out, which is good. So for any water drainage going up, it's okay. And we're pretty much good to go at this point. All right, now that we have the house on the site where we want, elevation roughly the way it should be set, like I said, we'll be adding in a little stoop here. We are gonna basically split this surface so that our basement can be seen and doesn't have the land going through it. go for the floor plan view, Habitat Humanity House, massing in sight, split surface. You can pick, when you do this, oh, you have to zoom out, find the surface right there on the edge. I'm going to come in with the rectangle tool. You could draw this individually lines, but I'm just going to go to the outside edge of the house. So now here is my foundation line. I'm going to zoom in, get there, and I'm basically now just going to move all the way over the other exterior foundation line right there. It's all good. I'm not going to bother locking it into place. It's fine. I'm not moving my house at this point. Finish it, edit. Now that surface is different. If I go to this view, you can see I can click on it. If I go to the section view, here, notice it's there also. What we're going to do now is bring that elevation down to under here. Okay, it doesn't have to be exact. You can go a little bit lower. It's fine. It's just to make sure that when we do our section view that we do not have any land inside there. Because right now you basically have this huge foundation that's filled in. Now, go back to the Habitat Humanity site. Go to that surface, click it, edit surface, and we see these points. You're going to click on the point, and now we need to know the elevation that we need to set them at. So this is 769 feet. We can try to do this this way is fine. Or just hit the X mark, go back to the section view. We know that this is 769 feet right there. We need to bring it down to at least below here. So to do that, we can go to annotate, and we could try to get a dimension. We could see if it will work. Fine, so it doesn't look like it's worked. So we're going to do something different. Go to annotate, detail line, draw in some sort of line. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what type of line. So now I have a line. It's green line. Looks like it's, I don't know what it is. I'm going to go to annotate, get a linear dimension. Or sorry, an aligned dimension from there to just below the surface. So that's 5 feet, 5 inches. Cancel. 5 feet, 5 inches is my number. Yours might be slightly different. Okay, let's go back to that site. Click on that surface, edit surface, and now we need to know these come down at least 5 feet. So if you want to go down 6 feet, just to play it safe, 763. Click this one. Do it right up here. And go around and click all these points, bringing them to 763, or the elevation just underneath your house. Okay, this should be good. Checkpoint. 3D view. Okay, there's the surface. Now let's go to the section view. And there we have it. So you can see it brought it down a little bit lower than what we wanted to, but it's fine because now I do not have the land there. We can always adjust it. We can always go up and you go back and you can fix it that way, but that is fine. It's still giving us basically our foundation line where the house is, and we're good to go. I would save it at this point. We're good to go. Let's take a look here. Now, if your elevation from here to there is not what you like, you can go back in and adjust that as well. But that's basically how you get the house onto the site plan, where it should be with the setbacks and property lines. I know it was a lot, and we're going to do a little bit more to this to make it a little bit nicer looking, but that is it for now. Have a great day. Bye.